Hey, welcome to A Foreigner in the Philippines, and I just wanted to do a quick update telling you that we are we're on the next step of our in vitro journey. To give you a very quick little bum's rush through what's happened story so far. I had a vasectomy. I had it reversed. We went for a year, have not conceived, so we are now on to doing an in vitro procedure. Now, when you go for the in vitro procedure, they don't just pile you in. You have a sample taken, up it goes, get the eggs, and it's not quite as simple as that. If you are going in and you want the father's sperm to be taken, and the sperm is not quite up to it because maybe your age or because of the vasectomy or various things, maybe you're not as healthy as you thought, and they'll put you on some supplements, some vitamins, and suggested lifestyle. If you're eating too much of this food or too much of that, too much salt, too much sugar, and they'll try to get you straightened out so that you're living a healthier lifestyle, which should then be reflected in the quality of your sperm, not to get too graphic. So that's where we're at. We've been on, for several months now, 2 or 3 months. We've been on added supplements, trying to get healthier, not eating as much meat and certainly sugar, coffee, all that kind of stuff. And that's where we've been. And tomorrow we're going back, and tomorrow we are hoping that all that we've been doing in terms of changed lifestyle are going to show up as increased numbers. Terrible, but when it gets down to this point in life, as you can say, I'll let you into a secret. I'm not 22 anymore, and and so quality of life is quite different. I am actually in surprisingly good health. Don't take any medication of any kind, and actually don't want to take any drugs. Someone has just told me about a drug from Japan which will help with prostate, and that was something that I had a concern with. And the clinic, that's one of the things, you see, when you start onto the in vitro journey, then you are in for looking at an overall thing. You know, it's not one of those things where they're shy about asking you. I had to have an ultrasound. Beth had an ultrasound, and everything down below the belt is ultrasounded. And so all of that will be taken into account, and they'll look at every possible aspect about how they can improve their numbers. And it comes down to very technical stuff like that, where there are numbers and percentages and all of that all comes into it. And when you go there, that's what they're looking at. So when they do their tests about quality of any part of the procedure, then it comes down to numbers, and the numbers that they have to be a certain level. Well, that's not really unusual, is it? Because when we go to have our blood pressure taken, it comes up in a number, and depending on what your numbers are, you may have to take action on that. So this is not something that is unusual. First thing that they do if you go into a hospital is to take your vital signs, and they'll take your pulse rate. And what's your pulse rate? Well, your pulse rate is one of those things that just by taking that you can immediately find out whether all is well. I'm taking mine now. I've always had very good heart rate. Down at one point when I was really in training, it would often be down around 44, 45 resting heart rate. And even after very strenuous exercise, I used to do a lot of rollerblading and do quite long distances rollerblading around Balboa Park in California, and I would always be able to take my own blood, my own pulse rate, and know how I was doing. And you can do that. And if you had, say, a lot of strenuous exercise, and it goes up to, if it goes up to your high, and how long does it take to get it back down again to resting heart rate? And that would give you an indication of how fit you are. Well, they have all of these things that they do, and they're very good at what they do. And so, and you go back and they'll test again. So we will go back and we will test again. Now, if you're about to do this, and these updates on the Invitro are for those who are interested in doing that. And I always mention the success stories that we've had about the Invitro, people who did it once and now have a lovely child. It does happen. There have been those who have done it 3 times, and if they can afford to, 4 times. It's not a pleasant procedure, by the way, the actual doing it. For the woman, not terrifically pleasant. For the man, a little bit strange. So you really need to have some idea as to the kind of success rate. But I don't feel that you should get too hooked up on the numbers only. One couple, the man wrote to me and said, you know, at one time we thought we hadn't had a child and we wanted one, and we went for the in vitro tests. So we went for the initial in vitro tests, which don't cost a huge amount of money. They tested them, and the man said, and they had all kinds of criticisms about my sperm. You know, the tail was going this way when it should have gone that way, and it didn't look good. So they were saying that they wouldn't give it much of a chance of success. So we went away. We gave up on the idea, even of having an in vitro child. We gave up on it, and we got on with our lives, and we lived our lives. And 6 years later, happened to start observing morning sickness and stuff like that. Tested for pregnancy, and now they have a lovely child. So really don't know how it's going to go. Other people that I've quoted before, this is always my test case. In my particular case, they tried 3 times, quite expensive in the UK. They tried 3 times for the in vitro and failed. They'd failed to conceive naturally. They failed when they went for the in vitro, and they gave up, and they adopted a child. They're very happy with their child, and then they conceived. And they conceived not once, but I think it was another 4 times. So fortunately they're Irish, and consider that a big family is the way to go. So we will see what we will see tomorrow. As blasé as we may seem to be about it and laid back, it actually means so very much to us, and it's something that we pray for all the time. It's on my mind. I can't look at a really little child without thinking that the man is one hell of a lucky guy. So we're looking now, and we're hoping that tomorrow will bring some good news. We're hoping that if it's a numbers game, we got the right numbers. Let's hope. Let's hope that it's worth even giving a shot. So thanks for looking in. Wish us well. All prayers gratefully accepted. This is a foreigner in the Philippines. Bye for now.